Friday, January 27th, 2017. I got the year right this time. I'm Jake Baldino, and we have to talk about some video game stuff that is going on this week. And it seems like it's actually a pretty good week because Codemasters has announced a new Dirt game. Dirt 4 is coming. There's a trailer that doesn't really show much gameplay or anything, but it's releasing in June. And I'm excited because I really like the Dirt games. They're really good, and Dirt Rally had a VR mode, so I hope they do that for Dirt 4. Also, apparently there's going to be a track creator, and that's probably the only type of game I would ever want to mess with that in. I am so down. It's also nice to bring that up too because I hear from you guys like we don't give racing games enough love, so at least now we finally can. But probably the biggest bomb to drop this week, and kind of unexpected, was an announcement from Square Enix and Marvel. They're working together to make an Avengers video game, like a full-fledged actual Avengers game. That's huge. That's a huge deal. How Star Wars handpicked EA and certain studios of EA because they were up for the job. It seems like they're doing that with Marvel for their properties with the Avengers because Square Enix is a weird choice, especially who is working on it. It's actually going to be Crystal Dynamics, famous for the new Tomb Raider games, as well as some Eidos Montreal, who made the Deus Ex games. The biggest question here, and I automatically assume that it's just going to take place in the MCU of the movies, but from what you can tell, things look a little different. Iron Man's repulsors look different. They don't look quite MCU. So I would like to see a new take or a new spin on that style of Avengers just in a game. Or maybe this is going to be connected directly to the MCU and sort of explain some in-between story. But the way they're talking about reassembling, I really don't know what exactly they're going for. Also, it is worth noting that this project is still a ways off. It doesn't actually have a title. It's just called the Avengers Project. And honestly, the more I think about it, I am excited as a comic book fan, but I don't know what kind of game I would want from this. I don't know what to expect. Some sort of brawler type game, a first person game that they actually prototyped a few years ago, if you guys remember. I hope they don't make it a MOBA, I'll just say that.
What if it's just an undercover Marvel Ultimate Alliance sequel?
I'd be okay with that. I would be 100,000% okay with that. Also, something that flew a little bit under the radar this week, I was genuinely surprised how much buzz this didn't get, but a Kickstarter has been released for an Apocalypse Now video game, an official game made by some of the guys behind Obsidian. There's some good pedigree there, and it's actually fully endorsed. They own the license, and it's fully endorsed by Francis Ford Coppola, the director, and I think there's some potential here because the Kickstarter video they specifically said they're going to Kickstarter because if they went to a big studio, they would want to make it a first-person shooter, and they don't want to make a first-person shooter out of this. They want to make a psychological survival horror game, which sounds interesting, and honestly, they seem really into the project, and I want to give them a shot. That being said, it is very much a game based on an old movie, so we can put that right up next to the Dirty Harry game that never happened, the Taxi Driver game that never happened, there's probably a million other games, but at least we got The Godfather and Scarface, right? That Scarface game was fucking good. That was really good. And since usually every week we like to highlight really cool, weird stuff people made in video games, check out what somebody made in Halo 5's Forge. They recreated Rainbow Road from Mario Kart, and it looks absolutely incredible. This gameplay video was posted by Forge Labs, but the map itself was created by XX Barth XX. Nice name. And this is absolutely amazing. This makes me want to dig up Halo 5 because I haven't played it in months, but I want to pop it in and play this because this looks like an incredible map to play through. We linked it down below in the description as well as everything else I talk about this week, but since we are talking about Xbox, we need to talk about the Xbox One Snap feature. Rest in peace. You will be missed. Yeah, Microsoft is actually axing the feature in an update, and it is kind of mixed, I guess. I know a lot of people that use it all the time and love it. But the people behind Microsoft actually justified it. I'm quoting them on Twitter claiming, "We replaced Snap to improve multitasking, reduce memory use, improve overall speed, and free up resources going forward for bigger things." Maybe now their games can play in 1080p. Also, for PC fans, and a nice announcement, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is going to be getting a PC release. So that's a win for all of us, I'd say. There's nothing really else to say about that, just other than, yay, hope it's not a half-assed port. Something that I want to talk about real quick, we always talk about Hideo Kojima and all the fuck Konami drama, and that's all coming to a close, especially with this. Hideo Kojima's Kojima Productions' new office has been revealed, and it looks absolutely incredible. Like, this is like office porn, but it looks like a goddamn spaceship. Not only is it incredibly cool looking, but a couple of new details have come out from the unveil of the office, with Kojima Productions still very much staffing up. They have the skeleton of a game, but it's not really happening as of yet. Death Stranding still seems to be a ways off, but Hideo Kojima has spoken about how he is hiring people who he respects their craft and what they do, not even just game developers, but even like sculptors and painters and all types of things. And he actually is going out of his way to hire people that don't even know who he is, and he's just getting them on board with his vision. Especially considering this office is designed for like 100 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, because it's not. It's actually more of like an indie group. A lot of hype behind this, and clearly looking at this office, a lot of money. I hope it all pans out. But it's such a big fan of his work, it's nice to see Hideo Kojima kind of finally come into his own, you know? And now for something that's kind of a little bit speculation, but it's also been kind of bolstered by some reports by Polygon and the like. The idea that video game prices are pending an increase thanks to new president of the United States, Donald Trump, and apparent changes to the way our trade system works, and possible imposed tariffs to places like Mexico and others have been talked about and, you know, floated. While none of this is official yet, it seems like everybody is accepting the reality of this presidency, and I'm not going to get political about it at all, but Polygon reports a 5 to 10% increase on imports will directly impact consoles and games, seeing as how many of which are manufactured outside of the United States. There's a good mix, and they come from generally everywhere. I even have some games right in the other room that say Made in USA on the box. But the reality is that we get our stuff from other places. And if something like the Trump administration suggested like the 20% increased trade tariff on Mexico were to occur, some game discs are manufactured in Mexico, and that would be passed over to the cost of the game in the United States. Most likely. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert. But what I do think was very interesting is that there also has been reports that the ESA, you know, the big official entertainment software association, has actually been preparing and doubling down and basically trying to figure out what to do in case of something like this were to happen. They're quote unquote preparing for the worst, and they are working on a plan to deal and offset the tariff. How are they going to do that? I have no idea. And it also begs into question, like, will digital prices go up? I have no idea. And also, I know many people in the comments with stuff like this that comes up, they're going to say, geez, there's so many other important things going on in the world. And there absolutely are. But we talk about video games here. So deal with it. As someone who plays and loves and buys and talks about video games all the time, I'm paying close attention. And you know what? You can't blame me for that. But like what is basically my catchphrase by now, time will tell, and we don't need to really freak out yet. Something that did catch my eye are some rumblings of a new game being worked on by an ex-Rockstar producer who is forming a new studio and is producing a game, a very ambitious game called Everywhere. The last game this producer worked on was Grand Theft Auto 5, and Everywhere, while it's not totally planned out yet, the way he talks about it sounds very ambitious in terms of how you basically create the game and build the narrative yourself. He said, and I quote, "While the game has multiple narratives, we also want players to create their own narratives that include characters with a real personality. If we do this right, we're going to give players the chance to really live out their own fantasies, not just the limited fantasies that most games set up for them, and do so in a deeply immersive way. Everywhere is going to be very different from GTA. There may be parts of the game that will include satire, but the tone will be very different, and the players will be in control of how the tone is set." That sounds crazy ambitious. That is full of hyperbole and honestly maybe bullshit. I wouldn't honestly believe a lot of these claims because that is huge and crazy. But however, if they can make it happen, I'm all about it. That sounds really cool. Something else that we came across that is, in one case, very sad, but also deeply heartwarming and kind of funny, is the way a group of Overwatch players got together to honor one of their friends who unfortunately passed away. Friends of Willem Don Toom got together in an Overwatch match and basically fired off a gun salute to him. The in-game gun salute was really cool, everybody firing off into the air at the same time, but what really got me is what they said. And I'm quoting them here. It's very nice, but it's also hilarious. "Wherever you are, may the payload be always moving, the point always contested, no one trickles out, and may there always be a healer on your team. We miss you, big guy. This play of the game is for you." That's fucking awesome. If I die, quote, do something like that.
In Metal Gear, though, right?
Yeah, not in Overwatch. Do it in Metal Gear. How can you do it in Metal Gear?
Figure it out.
Metal Gear, honor me in Metal Gear Survive. No, don't. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, on my personal channel, youtube.com/becausevideogames, I posted more of an in-depth talk about Resident Evil 7 and spoilers, so I want to hear from you guys. Check it out, see what you think. It'll pop up as like a clickable link at the end of the video. But now we got to get into our game giveaway we do every single week. You guys know the drill. There's a link below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, you're entered forever, and then every single week, fuck Tom! And then every single week, I go in and randomly choose one winner to win a free console of their choice. Here are some other winners for you non-believers. But anyway, this week's winner is going to be this cat right here. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about down in the comments. I want to hear from you guys, especially what you expect from an Avengers video game. Do you want a full-fledged third-person action game, or what? Do you want a story-based Telltale thing? The star's the limit. The sky is the limit. Also, do you think video game prices are going to increase? I know our friends in Canada are probably already feeling the pain because shit is expensive over there. Also, if you died, What video game would you want to be honored in? Seriously, let us know anything down in the comments. I'll be there with you guys. I'll also be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino as well. As always, though, guys, thank you so much for coming around and hanging out. You know, clicking the like button helps Game Ranks out a ton, and we really appreciate it. And if you're new, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me. Pizza's on Yoshi.
Think Yoshi likes pizza?
Fuck you. Yoshi probably doesn't like pizza. He's a cuck.